Number. No, here's why I'm here. I'm really here because the individual that introduced me, Jake, really took part in changing my life. I mean, there's really just no other way to put it. I mean, I know you guys have the flyer sitting there on your chair of what I used to look like when I strolled into Jake's office 4.5 years ago, and I cringe. I know maybe I should probably be proud of the transformation we've made, but I sort of cringe every time I look at that because that's how I looked on my wedding day. And it's kind of funny when you're really unhealthy. One of the things I learned from Jake, we don't talk about being overweight, underweight. People look at me now, probably would think, boy, that guy could probably lose 30 to 40 pounds, but I'll guarantee I can do more push-ups than most of you can. All right? I can probably bench a lot more than most of you can. Okay? Because one of the things I've learned that it's not about what you weigh, it's about really how you feel and how healthy you are. One of my best friends who I used to do a radio show with, may do so again, John Miller. I kid him all the time because he is skinny as a toothpick. I watch him eat the nastiest fast food, the grossest stuff I would never put in my system because I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes in the bathroom if I do because I can't even tolerate that stuff anymore. And he's like, he wears a size 32 jeans. But do you think I've ever been able to get him out on the basketball court? Think I've ever been able to get him to do anything physically strenuous? No. Why? Because I love him, and I know this is on tape, so I hope he sees this. He knows I will embarrass him. That's why. Okay? And the truth of the matter is it's because of the progress that I've made over the last 4.5 years with Jake. I mean, the numbers that I had when I first got a chance to get to know him, whatever chronic condition you can think of, I was pre-everything, really, just to narrow it down. I think it'd be a shorter list of what I wasn't probably suspect for than what I actually was. And one of the doctors we went to see wanted to put me, I think it was on blood pressure medication, was one of those things right away. And I remember saying to Jake at the time, I said, no way, we're not, you guys tell me we can do this naturally. You tell me we can do this naturally, and then you want to put me on medication. That sort of defeats the purpose. So let's do this the old-fashioned way, and let's see what happens. And 12 weeks later, we were amazed at the transformation that has taken place. And you want to know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's providence. That very same doctor that suggested that, I saw her today. My wife had one of those things with earwax. She's going to love me telling you that. So we had to go take that thing in because I'm not man enough to get rid of that on my own. We needed a real professional. And this doctor hadn't seen me in about 3 years. And she looked at me and said, wow, I'm surprised. You've kept most of that weight off. You look really good. Almost like, you mean you didn't just stop doing this because, we're not running advertising anymore and there's not any financial vested interest in it? Well, the truth of the matter is that might have been what initially started this relationship, but to me the vested interest is now that I could not imagine living a different way than this. I just could not imagine not doing what I do, eating the way I eat. And I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty good. And the kind of active lifestyle and everything that I live now, I feel so much better than I did before. The only regret I have is growing up, I played a lot of sports. I was a pretty good athlete as a kid. And man, I'm just in a lot better shape now than I was when I was 18 years old. Who knows, I might have been able to play like junior college basketball or something had I listened to a guy like Jake when I was a teenager. And my encouragement to you guys would be, with what you hear tonight, what they're going to offer, particularly the price range and the convenience of it. One of the things I would hear a lot when I worked with Jake before on WHO is living this way is hard, and it is. Because you're going to live counter to the way the rest of the culture really lives. You go to the stores and you look at what's available on the shelves, and it's just so much easier to do supper in a box. It's just so much easier to go through a drive-through. It's hard to live this way. And one of the things that Jake and I would talk about for years when we had our WHO relationship is, how do we make this more convenient? How do we make it easier? Because you can say, hey, I really, really want to live this way. I really want to be healthy. But when it's so much easier not to be, and everybody around you makes it even easier not to be, that's very hard to do. And I think one of the things that's going to be exciting about what they're going to launch here in September is, both from a time and a cost perspective, they're going to make this much more convenient. And let's face it, we live in a convenience-based culture. So I think if you make it easier for people to be healthy and to feel well, I think that they will. And that's why I think what they're going to talk to you about here tonight is very key. The changes that it's made in my life, I simply couldn't put a price tag on. But I know it's not easy. But I will tell you this, the key about looking at this is how you're going to live. This isn't something you're going to do for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 12 weeks, and I'm going to change because I want to fit into my wedding dress, or I want to wear that, outfit when I go back, my football jersey when I go back to my high school reunion. If that's what you're here for, this isn't going to work. But if you want to live differently, one of my friends once told me, hey, I want you to know, I've done Weight Watchers 6 times and it's worked every time I've tried it. Well, I think you sort of indicted yourself with that statement. You're not supposed to do it 6 times. I mean, this is the key, is do you want to live a certain way and live healthy and feel better? And I think a lot of the information that you're going to get tonight is going to help you do that. And I know in my own life, that's exactly what it's done. I want to thank Healthy for Life and the people there. They're working with me again. We just started working with them intently. Just Jake and I working out together and stuff again over the last couple of months. I'm in an incredible amount of pain here tonight. I can barely lift my arms over my shoulders. You suck, Jake. That's your fault. I mean, we're totally changing differently the stuff that we used to do before. Hey, here's a hint. Don't ever go to a guy like Jake and say, you know, I really feel like I've plateaued. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever say, you know, I'm looking for a new challenge. Do you have any more new ideas? Hey, why don't you try out some new stuff on me? I thought the old stuff was working just fine, and I'd kind of like to go back to it, looking at the stuff we've been doing lately. So I think that's the key, is these guys are really open to what is the latest research, what people, you know, they're not really into dogmas and preconceived notions. They're really into what does the truth say about how do you get healthy, and they're going to help you with that. So I really appreciate you guys letting me come tonight and share a little of my testimony and encourage you to take part in what you're going to listen to here this evening. And between tomorrow and August 12th, I wish I could be more specific than that. I just have those pesky little contractual obligations that don't allow it. But between tomorrow and August 12th, we'll make an announcement about what we're going to be doing in the future. I will tell you that it will be in broadcasting. I'm going to actually go into national syndication, and what we're working on is exactly what radio stations in Iowa are going to be the ones that are going to be hosting the radio program. So between tomorrow and August 12th, depending on how we work all that out, or August 10th, the show will actually start August 12th, the day before the Iowa straw poll, and that's not a coincidence. All right? So between tomorrow and August 10th, we'll be able to tell you a little bit more. You're always welcome to find me if you want to visit our website at stevedeace.com. You can email me if you ever have any questions, steve@stevedeace.com. That's really easy to remember, and I'm just glad you guys came here tonight. And I hope you leave here tonight encouraged that there is a better way than the way you were living. I am living testimony to that. And I may not be here if it weren't for the people that you're going to hear tonight. So thank you very much. Thank you.